Good morning, everyone. Let's start with a new subject, electrolytes and colligative property. Actually, it's not a new subject. Related to the previous subjects, we know we have studied colligative properties. Colligative properties were those properties which that were affected by changing concentration. So if we had different concentrations, the colligative properties would change. For example, freezing point would decrease, boiling point will increase. And the higher the concentration, the bigger the changes for those properties. Now, all the things that we have studied before, they were all non-electrolyte, they were all non-electrolyte solids. But now, we are going to talk about the difference between non-electrolyte and electrolytes. You know, electrolytes are those compounds which can make ions when dissolved in water. If we compare electrolytes to non-electrolytes, if they depress freezing point, so they decrease freezing point and elevate boiling point more than expected, more than an electrolyte. Why? We said we always depend on concentration. When ionic compounds or when electrolytes dissolve in solute, when ionic compounds or like those, all of the electrolytes dissolve in a solvent, dissolve in water, they produce more particles per each compound that is dissolved. For example, what do you mean by this? If 1 mole of this is non-electrolyte, this is non-electrolyte. When dissolved in water, it becomes aqueous. 1 mole of sucrose sugar will form only 1 mole of sugar. Nothing has changed. So it doesn't increase concentration. It's the same concentration that we have used before. But NaCl, when dissolved in water, for example, NaCl, if we have a certain concentration of NaCl, when it dissolves, it becomes 2 different particles. Each ion will act as a particle. Thus, it will multiply the concentration by 2. Why? Because we have 1 and 2. We call it 2 moles, or from now on, so that we don't get mixed with the original mole, with the original amount, let's say a factor of كواتا كورنا ليرة ما بس كمان شيء ionic compound كان ياخذ electrolyte كان كاتك أتوينه بلاني كمان 2 particle لتر دروس كان بلاني كمان وهنجرب السين هنجرب 4 و 5 كواتا ليرة NaCl 2 أونين electrolyte concentration زيادة. So in here NaCl will increase concentration, will have a concentration twice as much as a non-electrolyte. If it has twice as much of concentration, then it has twice as much effect on the colligative properties. For example, NaCl lowers freezing point of a solvent nearly twice as much as a solution as sucrose. Why? Because sucrose has a factor of 1. NaCl, when it dissolves, it becomes 2. So it has twice as much effect on freezing point as sucrose. كواتا ما دام NaCl أتويته بويا دو أوني من electrolytic effect here. دو أوني من electrolytic concentration زيادة. كواتا دو أوني أوانيش freezing point ده بزنت بنا بوينتش دو أنا برزكات برز كده أوكي بونمونا أجر بيتو نان electrolytic يقدر جداب زبابة ماينس يك NaCl وشانك أبابة ماينس دو أنا أجر أين المولاليتي شيء هذا بو لبري أجر أين المولاليتي حاصل NaCl إخوي كابا دو أنا كجابته بدو particle هريك يلا particle كان إيش دو particle كان هريك يلا particle كان each particle will be surrounded by water. So each particle, each Na or Cl will act as a different particle because it will be bound water. It will make the water to surround them. Surround it. So it will keep the water like to itself, and it doesn't let the water or the solvent to be frozen at -1. It will make it to be frozen at -2. So it's twice as much. Same thing for calcium chloride. Calcium chloride, CaCl2, it becomes Ca and 2Cl. So what is the factor? 3. The factor 3 is 3. So 3 particles have been separated. 3 particles are affecting this concentration. Okay? That's why they have higher effect on colligative properties than non-electrolytes. كواتا effecti زيادة لتشاو non-electrolyte كامل. بدو أونا بس أونا ببيتشي ببي أوي كجيانا كينو وكو أوي just like the beginning of chapter 2 section 1. If you remember the beginning that we separated these ionic compounds, that's what it happened. Okay, so we said colligative. Why does this occur? Because colligative properties are directly proportional to the molar concentration of solution. Of course, that directly. Molarity of a solution increases if solid is electrolyte. So if it's electrolyte, it has more factor, and it will increase the concentration more. That's why higher concentration means better colligative property, more effective on colligative property. That's why, what are we going to do about the equation? This is the equation. This is the original equation, actually. Delta Tf is equal to K times molality times factor. What is the factor? The one like 2, 3 for non-electrolytes is always 1. Since for non-electrolytes it's always 1, in the previous questions, we didn't write 1. We don't need to write 1. That's why this is the original equation. This is the original formula, rule. For non-electrolytes, it's 1. For electrolytes are different numbers. That's why we have to write those different numbers. Okay? We have to write those different numbers. Kasper Serin, yeah? بان مناح الكلمة. Let's solve questions. First question. Which one has the highest boiling point? So what are we going to look at? Which one has the highest boiling point? You know, delta TB is equal to KB times molarity times factor. Okay? Delta TB, KB times molarity times factor. So you have to encounter, you don't have to, since all of them are dissolved in water, you don't have to look at the KB. All of the KBs are equal. But what are the differences? What are the differences? Molarity and factor. So let's look at them. For A, the higher the delta TB means the higher is the boiling point. Okay? So delta TB here equals to KB times, what do we look at? Highest molality times factor. What is the molality? A, 0.5. Times sucrose. What is the factor of sucrose? 1. So the result is still 0.5 kb. 0.5 times kb. We don't need the kb. They are all equal. But we are looking for the biggest number. For this question, look for greatest number. This is greatest number. Between what? between molality times factor. بشوف كيف بقرأ بشوف molality times factor أبقرأ دانا. أجر هات وقف السيد واتر يسا molality إنه يعني بس سيد factor كافة. What about B? B, it's still KB. What is the factor? 0.5 times 2 equals to 1. What about C? C is still 1 molal times 1 equals to 1. What about D? D is 0.4 molal times 4 equals to 1.6. So this is greatest. So it has most effect on colligative properties. كواتا چی هي؟ زورترین effect لسر colligative property here. That's why the answer is D. If I change the question again to instead of highest boiling point, I can say lowest freezing point. It will be the same thing. Because freezing point is decreased, boiling point is always increased. That's why these two questions are the same. It will have the same answer. چه يعني قشتو قرينا؟
والله وصمت أنا قشت.
لا تشي باشيكي لا هم يعني قشتي؟
بس لو أنا قشت شو مزانم جريت استكى يعني لا ساكن. تقشتون
أسبون منا زور باشا ها باشا أسبون منا بابي نصير ديك باجنيا سير ديبكا. هو بجرب زاني ألمنيوم كلورايد كجابته بشي. So everyone, please pay attention to D. How do we know it's D? Why? You have understand the rule. You have to look at for the highest number, which is molality times factor. How do you know what is the factor? Molality is given. What about the factor? Aluminium chloride. If it separates, it becomes aluminium. And how many chlorides are there? 3Cl. In total, this is 1, this is 3. Together is 4 mole of ions. What do we call the moles? As factors here. In the beginning of chapter where we studied that part, we named them as moles. Now we use those moles as factors. For example, Mg SO4, it becomes Mg and SO4. So total 2. Tegi?
يعني بو أكابو
كم جان؟
لما مثلا أوي خوارو سيسي يلو يك ألمنيوم من هي أبي بتشوار مو
إيه
أوي سلو يك إم جي شوار إس أو بمكات يعني
أنا قرم شوار كي شوار إس أو إيش تيوان نابه أول باولن بيمتن تيبلا كان لبركة SO4 هم يك يونتا هم SO4 يك يونتا أما يك داني أو شواري أكسجينك خويتي أو السلفرني أصلا
يعني حسابي ناكن يعني بمول حسابي ناكن
أخير أو زاني بوا شون بوا أبوا بوا SO4 مثلا لقى كومباوند يكتر أبون من البردم يسيك هبوا مثلا بون منا ألمنيوم أسو ألمنيوم صلفيته أو سين جعلن CSO4 معنا مثلا وقت جابت دو ألمنيوم CSO4 أو
إيه طبعا
إيش تيجان
ما مصاي برسالة بوي ساكروز داك شلون زين كيفه
هيك دائما ساكروز باب النبري ان الالكترولايت لسرو نسمن الالكترولايت شنو كدانا يا شكاها ونزن هلا تشابتر يكي شال الالكترولاتك على خنوت من شلون بتويتو وكويتو وكويك داني ليتو
والله
او بوا زاني يك يعني چەند دانە بێ ڕووک خۆیەتی هیچ مەمۆزۆ ناگۆڕێ هیچ جیا نابێتەوە بەوەی هەزانین تۆ سەکرۆس یان گلوکۆز نان ئەلکترۆلایتە چکە مە لە پێشتریش باسمان کردمان سەکرۆز و گلوکۆز هەردووکیان نان ئەلکترۆلایتن کاتە گەر نان ئەلکترۆلایت بێ فاکتەرەکەی یەک ئێمە لێرە مۆزوعەکە کەوی فاکتەرەکەی زیاکە بەس ئەلکترۆلایتەکانە فاکتەری زیاک باشە کوڕینە Look at the next question. The next question, which one has the lowest freezing point with the same concentration? كمان كمترين freezing point here. كويس سر وكاتب بس شو بقرر. زورترين molality factor. وانيا بالام ليرة وتوتي with the same concentration. يعني same molality. هذا same molality ما كيس يتشيكن بس. Since they have the same molality, all you have to look is the factor. Just compare the factor. For example, what is the factor of sucrose? It is non-electrolyte, it's 1. Okay. What is this one? 3Na and 1PO4. So the factor is 4 moles. What about C? 1Ca and 2 Cls, it's 3 moles. What about NH4? Everyone, pay attention. NH4 together is 1 unit. It's not 4NH. It is 1 NH4 together. This one is also 1 NO3, 1 unit. So it is 2 mole factor. So which one has the highest factor? That one has the lowest freezing point and has the highest boiling point as well. That's why the answer is B. Sasha. اجرو برسيار بعكسه بوا. كورنا يساوي زاني من بيا بو لبرو زورترين فاكتور. اجا برسيار بعكسه بوا. يعني شلون بعكسه بوا؟ اجا برسيار بيوتا question بو أوا. Which one is highest freezing point ياخد lowest boiling point. Answer كابو بتشي.
إمام صح؟
Answer كابو بأي. بالضبط توقعتها عين option. Answer كأي درجة. فأنا برسيار أبو نسمبلين بعين option أو answer كأي درجة. رأيك عكسك. كاتب زورتين فاكتور من أوليريا أجر عكسي كأنه كم ترين فاكتور معنا. سن. بكشتي عامة if in calculation question the calculated expected approximate words then the question is electrolyte. قرنا تولم ولا كبسياري أم موضوعية بردمت كبسياري موضوعها تبردمت أبي بزاني ك الكترولايت أن الكترولايت كجرتو حسابي من الكترولايت بوبكيتو فاكتور كننسي غلط أبي. So you have to pay attention very carefully whether the question is electrolyte or non-electrolyte. If you solve an electrolyte question as a non-electrolyte, it will be false and you have made a very great mistake. Okay. Look at this question, for example. What is the expected? So if you see expected, you can directly assume, you can directly know that that's talking about electrolyte. The problem is where it doesn't say expected or calculated or approximate. Then you have to be very careful if it's electrolyte or not, because sometimes it will not say it. But most of the time, there is expected, there is calculated or approximate. قرنا كشغله لا شيء اگر وتي expected يعني كلمات ثانيه بكارنا تو تاكيد بك electrolyte كشغله اگر باي نيلد اگر نيلد تو ها بير اللي بكتب زاني electrolyte and non-electrolyte. How do you know it's electrolyte and electrolyte? You have to look at the compound. So here the compound is magnesium sulfide. Magnesium sulfide is ionic compound. It is an electrolyte, and you have to know the formula. As I told you before, from the beginning of this course, please try to memorize the tables from last year. I have put the tables in the second booklet in chapter 3, 4, and 5 on the back of that booklet on the last page. Both of the tables are present. Please try to memorize them because you're going to need them. As you can see, only in this chapter, at least 2 or 3 questions are asked using those tables. So now, let's look at the given and the required. What is the given? It says we have 2 mole. This 2 mole is the exact amount. It doesn't talk about the factor, not factor. So N of solute is 2 mole. What else we have? Mass of solvent, 1 kilogram. Then we have to write the fact. Why? Because it's MgSO4. We need the factor Mg and SO4. You don't need to write the equation all the time. After a while, when you get used to it and you just can write the compound, you cannot make a mistake about the formula because you know it's Mg1 SO4. So the factor is 2. Now we found factor. Let's see what is required. What is required? Freezing point depression. So it says find delta TF. Just that. Okay. Let's find the test. Delta TF times molarity times factor. Since it's water, Kf is minus 1.86 Celsius. أهم مادة موية فاطمة أذاني. The only thing Kf is factor is known. All we have to find is molarity. Molality is equal to mole of solute given over mass of solvent also given. So 2 mole over mass of solvent 1 kilogram is equal to 2 molar. So there you go. The 2 molar is here. Now it is equal to here minus 1.86 times 2 molars times a factor of 2, and the result is minus 7.4. كواتا الان شي Kf equals to molality, Kf times molality times factor. Molality is equal to N of solute divided by mass of solvent. When we found molality, that's we found molality. We put it inside the equation. Minus 1.86 times 2 times 2 because the factor is also 2, and the result is 7.44 Celsius.
مامۆستا
بەڵێ
بەڵام لێشتا زۆر پیس سەرمێشەوە
بۆ لە چیە؟
مامۆستا بەس لە یاساکانە بزانم لە چی لە کام پرسیارە کام یاسا دڵتاتیە بەکاربێمیان دڵتاتیبی بەس ئەمە
ئەگەر دەلتاتیڤ باسی فریزین پۆینتی کردو فریزین پۆینت یانی چی؟ دەلتاتیڤ ئەگەوتی بۆلن پۆینت دەلتاتیڤی Okay, let's solve the next question. Let's see what is given. Mass of solid is given here. It's 150 grams. It says expected, so it must be electrolyte. What is the electrolyte? It's NaCl. So the NaCl, when it becomes ion, it's Na and Cl. So it is 2 mole factor. Okay, 2 mole factor. What else do we have? Mass of solvent, 1 kilogram. Again.
مامۆستا کیفش بەکاربێنی وایە لەمەیە چکە باسی ئاوەکات
بەڵێ ئەوەی کاتە لێرە چی بەکارێن KB بەکارێنین
KB okay
aha KB madam boiling so KB is equal to 0.51 Celsius per molar. What is required? Delta TB is required. Okay. Now, first, now we have found factors. Let's find delta TB. Delta TB equals to KB times molality times factor. The factor is given. KB is also known molality. We need molality. Let's find molality. Molality is equal to mole of solute, just like the previous questions. Again and again, the same thing is asked. Mass of solvent. We don't know mole of solute, so we have to find mole of solute. Mole of solute equals to mass of solute divided by molar mass. This is 150 grams divided by 58.45. I think it's 2.64. I think. Let me just check. 150 divided by 58.45. 2.50. طلع
2.56
56 بنووسین ئەیبینە زۆر ڕاوند مەکەن کوڕم لەوە زاریە زۆر جار ئەو ڕاوندکردانە ڕەنگە زۆر بڕوات تۆزە دوای بۆ ئیزعاج بێن هەوڵ زۆر ڕاوند مەکەن لە دوای
بە حسابی ڕاوند 57
بەس حسابی ڕاوند 57 بزن لە دوای پاریزەوە دوو خاڵیان سێ خاڵدا بنێن هیچ کێشەتان نابێت یاخود لە دوای سفرەوە بۆ 0.0 دوو خاڵیان سێ خاڵ بەکار بێن هیچ کێشەتان نابێت لە کیمیا وایە کاتە 2.56 divided by 1 kilogram, this is mole, is still 2.56 molar. Now we have the molar, put it here, equals to 0.51 times molarity is 2.56 times factor is 2. I think it's 2.61. Let's just check. 4.51 times 56 times 2. Yes, 2.61. One Celsius. That's it. Same thing. The only thing that has changed, or that is for the next lesson, we'll come back to question 30. All right. Let's look at these two. In every country, in most of the countries, not every country, most countries where they have a lot of snow, when they want to melt snow, they apply salt. خوێکم بە سەرینەکانەوە هەمووتان بیستو دانەکە چۆن خوێکم بە جادەکانە Why? Because they want to do what? Lower the freezing point of water and melt the ice. هسه رسمك كان شكلكتو freezing point دابوزي كشون أو freezing point دابوزي وكاتن ناتواني بيبسته أو هذا كما تشيكين. If we add some solute, the freezing point of the water will decrease. Then the water cannot freeze at 0 Celsius. It will freeze at a lower temperature. That's why it will melt the ice. أو بويا كات أم موضوع آخر بس شيء وهي قرب بس freezing point دايكو كان بقول منا وكو جان روجانا من أو هيك أخويا كده بس جادة لكاتي بفربارينا شيء كان solute كان أنا أو أفرو أو كاتناي بس تطو بويا بر freezing point دابز يعني. So when we say which one is the most effective to melt snow, it means that these have two meanings. Same meaning. We can also say which one has the highest boiling point, as we have studied before, as I've told before. Highest boiling point. It's the same thing. So, if, as you can see in this question, no molality is given. Molality nadra. What is given? What is the only difference between these compounds? Factors. What is this one? Remove. NO3. Boya machanaka amasse. That's all right. Again, sir, now question review, chapter review, question 30. It says determine the expected boiling point of a solution. This time, instead of saying boiling point elevation, it says boiling point of solution. So it means the final. Find the final. Now, let's take out the given mass of solute 25 grams. The compound is barium. So the compound is barium chloride, BaCl2. Compound away. Molar mass, I will give you the molar mass. It's 8.23 grams per mole. Or molar mass then. Mass of solvent is equal to 0.15 kilograms. What else do we have? It says find boiling point of a solution. So you have, and we know Kb because talking about water. So we know Kb is 0.51 Celsius per mole. And it says find boiling point of solution. All right. Let's look which rules we are going to use. The compound is barium chloride. It's electrolyte. If it is electrolyte, you have to write the compound and find the so BaCl2, it will be separated to Ba and 2Cl. So the factor is 3 moles. There we got it. All right. We got that out of the way. Let's look, what do we have? It says find boiling point of solution. In which rule do we have boiling point of solution? Delta Tb equals to boiling point of solution minus boiling point of solvent. Do we know boiling point of solvent? Yes, it is water. So you have, this is the points that you have to know. Boiling point of solvent, which is H2O, it's 100 Celsius. تو خودت ببزنی outside. اگر ماده‌ای تر به if it's another substance, it will tell you what would be the boiling point of the solvent. But in here, since it's water, you have to know that the boiling point of water is 100 Celsius. Okay. Or what else do we have? Let's see what else is needed. So in order to find boiling point of solution, we have boiling point of solvent. We need delta TB. How can we find delta TB? Okay. Now, boiling, if you need delta TB, delta TB is equal to KD times molality times factor. Easy. We have KD, we have factor. Now, the rest is just like the same questions before. Nothing will change. We need molality as usual. Then molality is equal to mole of solute divided by mass of solvent. Mole of solute divided by mass of solvent. We don't have mole of solute. So mole of solute is equal to the mass of solute over molar mass, which in turn equals to, let me open the calculator. Mass of solute is 25 grams. Divided by the molar mass, it's 208.23 grams per mole. Okay. Now, 25 grams divided by 25 it's 0.12. What mole? This is the amount. This is the exact amount that we have added. So this mole, put it here, and you get 0.12 divided by 0.15 equals to 0.8 molal. We found molal. Just like the previous questions, put it here also. Now, Kb, we know Kb times molality times factor 3, and the result is 24. Let me check if it's 24. So it's 0.51 times 0.8 times 3, yes, 204. What? Delta. What is the unit? Delta. Now we have delta TB, but you don't leave it there because it says find boiling point of a solution. So delta TB, which is 1.224, is equal to boiling point of solution minus 100. Put the 100 on the other side. Okay, put the 100 on the other side. So 1.224 plus 100 is equal to boiling point of solution, which in turn this equals to 101.224 Celsius. That's the final answer. Okay, that's the final answer. That's how you solve this question. This is probably the longest question that we are going to solve. All right. Please go to page in the ministry exam questions. Go to page 62, question 25. Question 25. Here's the question. Question 25 says the concentration of a solution, the concentration of solution of a solution is 1 molal, and the freezing point is equal to minus 3.72. Which of the following about this solution is true? So if you look at this question very, very carefully, what is it actually asking? What is it actually asking?
Teacher, there is a model.
So what is required? What do you have to find in order to answer this question?
Factor.
Factor. Very good. So it says we have molality, and you know Kf. You have to know the Kf. If we solve the question, then it says, let's say delta Tf is equal to Kf times molality times factor. Delta Tf is given minus 3.72. What is Kf? Minus 1.86 times molality is 1. The only thing that we don't have is factor. So factor, this one divided by this one, so factor is equal to 2. Which one has a factor of 2? C. A has a factor of 4. B has a factor of 3. So this has a factor of 4. This one is 3. This one is 1. This one is 2. So the answer is C. Next question, go to page 64, question 48. Question 48. Look at this question. In these types of questions, where it says, in which of the following aqueous solutions delta Tf is equal to 2Kf? So the thing that it's looking for, it wants the delta Tf equals to Kf times molality times factor. So actually in this part, it says which one of the following has molality times factor as 2. على شيء على كاملة معني خواره factor ومولالity كان كرت يعني كين أكاد دو factor ومولالity كان كرت يعني كين كات دو. But they have the same Kf because it's in aqueous, because it's in water. They have the same Kf, so we don't have to write the Kf. All we have to find molality times factor. بس هنا ببتوزينه molality times factor. So this one, A, it's 1 molal times a factor of 4 equals to 4, so times Kf equals to 4Kf. B is Kf times 1 molal times 2, it's 2Kf. So the answer is B. Let's look at C. C is Kf times 0.5 times 1, 0.5 Kf. Since this is one factor, this glucose, it's one factor, so it's multiplied by 1. D, Af times 0.5 times 2 equals to 1 Kf. That's why the answer is B.
مساقل لدوزينوي فاكتور كات وزي كشو من هبي تشيب كيما ان شاء الله
لدوزينوي شيئا فاكتور كيا
بله
والله حلاكي بس تيبلا كان حقينا هيش تيجي كشو بدرزناك لو فاكتور انا لغيري او بزانه تصور كم يتريش كشي هنا نبي ماشي كان
ماشي ساقي استاج لبري يكين بوكاكي مكتب بين برنامج واه
على والله زور زور
لسه لبري كين باشتر
أراله استوى لبريكا من بويا همونا جختي لسركموا بوي يعني تو تأكيد بكم شتجرينجها بيوست بيتي
ما بلي سؤال لبري كين كيانو ترى
أرى والله
بس ما وصلت شلون نرتب لنا يعني أتوين فاكتور بيت بزيت يعني
بوي آخر كتو تبلاكد لبربو أزاني تشتك آيونا وأزاني آيونا كتشي بون من الناس جورتين كشري كأزانم لما همو صالحهم كشري هي طلبة مثلا اشتكي وكم في أوفورا لا هو أوفورا لبيري شو توكا آيونك هي بي أو 3 SO4 بي 3 سلفايد كأبي وكو يك يونت سيديكي تيجي أما كشري يعني لهنا كان ككومباوند بفورمولا بنوع الداتا تو بيكي بفورمولا او بو طبعا او اسفادي يعني مثلا تو زاني ام سي هي ان اي 100 يعني ام سي بابلين هي انك اصليه بلا ولا ان اي 3 يعني او ان اي كواتا سي دانا ان اي من بجاه باشا كبا بي او 4 بس راو كواتا بس سي ان اي جامن هبه طبعا او شواري كلا بلم بي او 4 كا او عادي خويتي هرمو بي او 4 كبيكوه او بو اگر تيبل كبنا زاني اسنتريجنسي
يعني ما مساكمة لا شو نكا بي او نيجا بي او 4 ما بيني ابي بزانين كا سي فاكتوري هي
شارجك السي بو ان اي كا بردمك السي كاواد الاسبوع ان اي بلس يكا بي او 4 سي ماينس خوي بوشي سي ان اي بت شو كتب بس سي ان اي اتواني لقل بي او 4 نيوترلايز كده بو همو بوزيتيف ابي او نيجاتيف مان هذا
يعني وكاتن ان كان بس
يعني اگر سيلكا بي او 4 بي يعني كومباوند ريسكات يعني بوند ريسكا لقل ان سي داني اي چونکە چونکە چەند ئەتوانێت چەند ئەلکترۆن وەرگێ ئەتوانێت سێ ئەلکترۆن وەرگێ ئێنێ توانێت یەک ئەلکترۆن ببەخشێ تاواتە چەند ئێنێ بۆی سێ ئەلکترۆن پێ بکە سێ ئەنێوێت تاکو بتوانێت سێ ئەلکترۆنەکەی بات تێگەشتی question page 65 is the same question but this time instead of having the 2kf it says which one is 1kf. Instead of saying 2kf, it says which one has 1kf. So what would be the answer?
ما اصلا زو خرابيت
دنگم خرابيت
اسا باشا بس
جاري وهي لفرنجا دنگم قطع ببي هسه كم خلال الانترنت هي نازم الانترنت هي شكا تنانا كان مايكش بكاري هم هر عين قصتان هي
هوسا بسمع أقصى يعني بميكي
لا والله أساسا معكش ملا بردو
والله يبي
Sonuçta is it
Yes.
C?
Yes, the answer is actually C. Why? Because C, it says 1kf, C1kf. So C is 0.5 times a factor of 2 times kf, so it will become 1 kf. That's why the answer is C. Right answer is C. So this is how questions will be asked sometimes in the ministry, not a direct question. It will not tell you to solve the question directly. Sometimes they will change the question in a way that you connect the dots and then answer these questions according to the options. Okay. Do you have any more questions about this part? Very well.